Today we're going to talk about rounding, but we're going to do it a little different than you expect. Instead of me giving you a number and say round it to a certain point, I'm going to give you a number that's already rounded and say, can we tell something about how we got there? Like this. Say that I looked on my fitness watch and it said I walked 14,635 steps that day, and that's 6.5 miles. Now, do I really think I walked exactly 6.5 miles? And can I kind of decide, well, what numbers did I walk between? So what we're going to do when we do that is we're going to look at what we can tell based on the value I already have, and we're just going to go one decimal place to the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another decimal place. So you can see like I went 6.5 blank. And I think, well, what's the largest number that I could put in this blank where I wouldn't round up to 6.6? And the answer is 6.54, right? If it went to 5, it would go up. At 6, it would go up. So I think the biggest number that could go beside that 6.5 would be 4. So I say, okay, I could have walked to as much as 6.54 miles that day, but it rounded to 6.5. Let's think on the other way, like could I have walked less than 6.5 miles, but it rounded my number up? So again, I'm going to do another decimal place, but this time I'm thinking like it rounded up, so let's go smaller. So think if I had 6.4, and I'm thinking anything greater than or equal to 5, it would have gone up. So I could have walked 6.45 miles, but then it would have still shown on my fitness watch as 6.5. So I might have walked less. I might have walked as little as 6.45 miles, or I might have walked as much as 6.54 miles, but somewhere in between there is what I walked that day. So I have these two numbers that I know my 6.5 is between. Somewhere from 6.45 all the way up to 6.54. But every time I try this, we are going to look at our value and we're going to add one more decimal place, which means I'm really adding a significant digit. So like with the 6.5, let's go back real quick. I had two significant digits. And then by adding one more number, I've gone up to 3. So whatever I give you, let's just add one more. So in the next example, look that I gave you 3 significant digits to start. So I'm going to go all the way up to 4 significant digits. And let's start like, what do I know the number must be at least? So I'm thinking, what's the smallest thing that I could have walked to get a distance of 1.84 miles? So I think, what number could I have had? And I could have had 1.835. So I took the 1.84 and I thought, okay, what numbers could round up? So I think the 1.83, I go down 4 to 3, and I think what number could round up, and it's 5. You're going to see like the same pattern all the time. When I go down, it's a 5. And then when I go up, I go to 4. So I think I had the 1.84, but then I said add one more digit, and if that digit's a 4 or less, it's still going to round to 1.84. So the 5 and the 4 is very consistent. You see it a lot, but now I have 4 significant digits for each one, and however far I walked, kind of slowly, 42 minutes to go 1.84 miles. I was walking slow that day. It means I was somewhere between 1.835 miles and 1.844 miles, right? So that's what it tells me. All of these would round to the same 1.84 miles that it recorded on my watch. Let's try something bigger, and I looked up what's the population of the greater Las Vegas area. So I didn't put just Las Vegas, the city, but let's go like the whole metropolis, right? And it says in 2020, it was 2,699,000. And how amazing is that, right? Like it has those zeros, and that says, well, no, right? It's not exactly that. It means they rounded, right? So that we didn't count every person, but we decided, or whoever made this decided, this would be the number of significant digits that would be given, and this has 4 significant digits. So what do we want to do? We want to add one more digit, which would be 5 significant digits, and we're going to go lower and higher. Okay, doesn't matter which order you do. I just happen to say let's go smaller first. So if I go smaller, the 2698, so watch, this 9, I dropped it down to 8 and I put the 5. And then the 9, I kept it the same and I put a 4. So you're seeing the same thing over and over with all of these examples. And let me go back and say it. Like this 184, when I go lower, I add a 5. When I keep it the same, When I keep it the same, it's a 4. We could add one more thing if you find that helpful. Let's say that we went back to 2019 where it says 2,621,000. So if I go lower, I'm going to do 2620. So the 1 becomes a 0 and I put a 5. So this would be the lower. And then the higher, I keep the 2621 and I put a 4. So definitely there's a pattern of seeing the 5 when I drop the number down, and then when I keep the number the same, I add a 4, and this will be my higher or upper bound. All right, hope that helps.